Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad DANISH HAIKAL bin AZMI and I am from class KBA 1112A and my matric number is 20227026225.
Assalamualaikum, my name is AMJAD bin SHARIF. My matrix number is 2022948851.
Assalamualaikum, my name is AZRIN AHZA bin AFIF. My matrix number is 2022745115.
Assalamualaikum, my name is AMJAD bin JAMALUDDIN. Now matrix 2022134237.
Hai, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is SHAHMI bin SHASRULSHAM with matric numbers 2022510673.
Introduction. Electric cars have gained popularity in recent years as a more environmentally friendly and cost-effective alternative to gasoline-powered cars. Despite this, the use of electric cars in Malaysia is still relatively low. However, as the country works to reduce its dependence on fossil fuels and lower its carbon emissions, the adoption of electric cars is expected to grow in the future. Next, the Malaysian government has implemented several initiatives to promote the adoption of electric cars in the country. One of the most significant is the National Electric Mobility Blueprint, which aims to have at least 30% of vehicles on the road be electric by 2030. This ambitious goal highlights the government's commitment to reducing the country's carbon footprint and promoting sustainable transportation. To support this goal, the government also provides various incentives to encourage the purchase of electric cars, including exemption from import duties and sales taxes, as well as subsidies for the installation of charging infrastructure. However, there are still several challenges to the widespread adoption of electric cars in Malaysia. One of the main challenges is the lack of charging infrastructure, which makes it difficult for electric cars owners to travel long distance. This lack of charging stations and absence of fast charging options can make it difficult for electric cars owners to plan long trips and can also discourage potential buyers who are concerned about the limited range of electric cars. Additionally, the high upfront cost of electric cars compared to gasoline-powered cars is still a barrier for many consumers. Despite this incentive and subsidies provided by the government, the initial cost of purchasing an electric car can still be prohibitively expensive for many Malaysians, especially those with limited financial resources. Lastly, to overcome these challenges and promote the widespread adoption of electric cars in Malaysia, the government and private sector need to work together to develop and expand charging infrastructure as well as make electric cars more affordable to a wider range of consumers. This could include offering more financing options such as low-interest loan and leasing options to make electric cars more accessible to a broader range of people. Additionally, the government and the private sector should focus on education and awareness campaigns, which can help the dispel myths about electric cars and promote their benefits over gasoline-powered cars.
Supply and demand analysis. Elasticity of demand for electric cars. The elasticity of demand refers to the degree to which the quantity of a good or service demanded changes in response to a change in its price. In general, the demand for electric cars is likely to be relatively elastic, meaning that a small change in price could lead to a relatively large change in the quantity of electric cars demanded. This is because there are likely to be many substitutes for electric cars, such as gasoline-powered cars, and because the upfront cost of the purchasing an electric car is often higher than the upfront cost of purchasing a gasoline-powered car. However, the elasticity of demand for electric cars may vary depending on a number of factors, including the availability and price of alternative modes of transportation, consumer income and preferences, and government incentive of regulations. For example, if gasoline prices are high or if there are strong government incentive for purchasing electric cars, the demand for electric cars may be more inelastic, meaning that a change in price would have a smaller impact on the quantity demanded. It is also important to note that the elasticity of demand for electric cars may vary over time as the market for electric cars matures and as consumer attitudes toward electric cars change. As more people become familiar with electric cars and as the range and performance of electric cars improves, the demand for electric cars may become more inelastic.
First of all, I would like to present about basic economic concept and demand. Society will always have to deal with scarce factors of production in economic, that is scarcity. Scarcity occurs because society has unlimited wants, but there are not enough resources to fulfill their desires. For example, people must choose whether to buy an electric car that uses rechargeable battery or petrol car that uses gasoline. They must make choice because of the scarcity, such as lack of money to get both cars. The production possibility curve on figure 1.0 shows the combination of petrol cars and electric cars. At point W, we can see that there are not enough resources in production. Therefore, point W known as scarcity. Due to scarcity, people must make the best choices whenever to get petrol car or electric car. If they choose to get electric car, then the opportunity cost will be petrol car. At points along the PPC is known as choices. At point A, the economy produced 10 electric cars. The movement point A to point B shows that the choice is now to produce 8 electric cars and 5 petrol cars. Opportunity cost is the second best alternative that has to be given up in order to get the best choice. Due to scarcity, people must choose whether to buy an electric car or petrol car. If they choose to get the electric car, then the opportunity cost of buying electric car is the petrol car that needs to be forgone. At figure 1.0, when the point moves to from A to B, the economy chooses to produce 8 electric cars and 5 petrol cars. The opportunity cost that need to be forgone is 2 units of the electric cars. Now I would like to move to other topic, that is demand, taste and preference. Malaysian consumers' taste and preference for electric cars are influenced by product design and the new technology features. As shown in figure 1.1, the taste and preference for electric cars increase. The quantity demand for electric car increased from Q0 to Q1 and the price increased from P0 to P1. Therefore, the demand curve shifts to the right from D0 to D1. The new equilibrium is at E1. Next, population or number of buyers. Population or number of potential buyers will influence the demand for the electric cars. The younger population and rich people will demand for more electric cars because they demand for more technology. The more numbers of buyers in the market, the more demand for electric cars. In figure 1.2, the population or number of buyers increase. This shift the demand curve to the right from DO to D1. The quantity demand for electric car increase from QO to Q1. The price is constant at PO, but if the population of the potential buyers is small, the demand curve will shift to the left. Next is income level. The higher the consumer income level or minimum wages rise, the more demand for electric cars. A rise in income or minimum wages will increase the demand of the electric car. This is because more consumers willing to buy electric cars because they are now able to pay for higher car price. As shown in figure 1.3, the income level for electric cars increases. Therefore, the demand curve shifts to the right from DO to D1. The quantity demand for electric car increase from QO to Q1. Next is advertisement. Advertisement of electric cars influence consumer to purchase because of the new and modern design and features that attract them to buy. Consumers can imagine how electric cars look and what the new features from the advertisement. Figure 1.4 shows that advertisement of electric cars increase. The price is at PO and the demand curve shift to the right from DO to D1. The quantity demand for electric car increase from QO to Q1.
Supply analysis for electric cars. Number of seller decrease. Technology use. Design for electric use. Number of seller decrease. The COVID-19 pandemic has caused disruption in the manufacturing of vehicles, including electric vehicles. This could be due to lockdowns, supply chain disruption, or reduced consumer demand. This disruption has resulted in a decrease in the supply of electric vehicles. This decrease in supply would cause the supply curve for electric vehicles to shift to the left. The decrease in supply of electric vehicles would cause the price of electric vehicles to increase and the quantity of electric vehicles sold to decrease. This is known as a decrease in equilibrium quantity and increase in equilibrium price. The new equilibrium point would be at the highest price and the lower quantity than the original equilibrium point. Technology use. In terms of the supply side, investment in technology for electric car can lead to a decrease in the cost of production and increase in the supply of electric cars. This can cause the supply curve for electric cars shift to the right, leading to a decrease in the price of electric cars and increase in the quantity supply. Additionally, as more consumers become interested in purchasing electric cars due to their environmental benefits and new technology, the demand for electric cars may also increase. This increase in demand can lead to an increase in the number of electric cars being produced, future shift to the curve to the right. Design for electric use. On the supply side, the shift in demand towards electric cars would likely lead to an increase in the number of electric car manufacturers and an increase in the supply of electric cars. This could lead to a decrease in the price of electric cars and make them more accessible to consumers. On the equilibrium side, if the supply of electric cars increase and the demand for them also increase, the equilibrium price will decrease and the equilibrium quantity will decrease. This means more electric cars will be produced and sold at lower price. This shift in equilibrium could also lead to a decrease in the market share of traditional gasoline vehicles and increase in the market share of electric cars.
Hi, I'm ANIEQ. So for my part, I would like to discuss about how market equilibrium and surplus occurs to our product research. So for the first topic is market equilibrium. If a market is not in equilibrium, market force tend to bring it back into the balance. So let me dissect this idea. If the market price is higher than the equilibrium value, the market has an excess supply, which is a surplus, which means there is more supply than demand. In this situation, sellers will typically lower the price of their product or service in order to clear their inventories. They will most likely also reduce production or stop ordering new inventory. The lower price entices more people to buy, further reducing supply. This process will cause demand to rise while supply falls until the market price equals to the equilibrium price. If the market price is less than the equilibrium value, there is an excess of demand, which is supply shortage. Buyers will bid up the price of the good or service, in this case, in order to obtain the good or service in short supply. As the price rises, some buyers will give up because they do not want to or cannot afford the high price. Furthermore, sellers who are overjoyed to see the demand will begin to supply more of it. Price and supply pressure will eventually level off at market equilibrium. So the second topic is surplus. A surplus is the amount of an asset or resource that exceeds the amount actively used. A surplus can refer to a variety of items such as income, profits, capital, and goods. A surplus in the context of inventories refers to products that remain unsold on store shelf. A surplus occurs in budgetary context when income earned exceeds expenses paid. A budget surplus can occur within government when there is excess tax revenue after all government programs have been fully funded. When the quantity demanded exceeds the quantity supply, there is a surplus, which is quantity supply is greater than quantity demanded. This issue also arises when the price is higher than the equilibrium price. When the price is above the equilibrium price, there is downward pressure on the price to fall back to the equilibrium position. Many goods experience surplus in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemics. In COVID-19 pandemics, including a variety of electric cars. As the price falls towards the equilibrium price, there is two effects. The first effect is that it may attract new buyers when price fall. The second effect is that sellers will supply less because it is no longer profitable to supply more now that the price has dropped. So at the left side of the screen, you guys can see the graph how surplus and shortage occurs. So thank you.
Now we are going on to elasticity of demand. As we can watch from figure 2.7.1, the steeper slope of demand curve in elastic demand curve, the degree to which demand responds to a change in an economic factor is referred to as demand elasticity. The most common economic factor used to calculate elasticity is price. Other factors include income level and availability of substitutes. Electric vehicle demand is inelastic. This means that when it comes to purchasing electric vehicles, people are not very responsive to price changes. Even if the price of electric cars rises, people will continue to purchase them because they recognize the value in owning one. Electric vehicle sales are increasing, particularly in developed countries. In 2022, electric vehicles are expected to account for nearly 9% of the global car market, up from less than 1% just 2 years ago. In 2022, electric vehicles accounted for nearly all the net global growth in vehicle sales. The availability of a diverse range of models, upgraded technology, increased customer awareness, and the availability of subsidies and tax breaks are driving the market. Electric vehicles are becoming more popular due to their environmental friendliness, efficiency, and affordability. Furthermore, because of their greater range, these vehicles are preferable to gasoline vehicles for long distance travel. Electric vehicles will account for 30.8% of the global market in 2022, up from 11.7% in 2019. Now we are going to elasticity of supply. As we can watch from figure 2.8, the flatter slope of supply curve, elastic supply curve. The elasticity of supply refers to the degree to which the quantity of a good or service supply changes in response to a change in its price. In general, the supply of electric cars is likely to be relatively elastic, meaning that a small change in price could lead to a relatively large change in the quantity of electric cars supplied. This is because the production of electric cars involves relatively high fixed costs, such as the cost of building manufacturing facilities, and relatively low marginal costs, such as the cost of raw materials and labor. As a result, electric cars manufacturers may be able to increase or decrease production relatively quickly in response to change in demand and price. However, the elasticity of supply for electric cars may vary depending on several factors, including the availability of raw materials and components, the efficiency of the production process, and the extent to which the production capacity of electric cars manufacturer is being utilized. For example, if raw materials are in short or if production capacity is already being fully utilized, the supply of electric cars may be more inelastic, meaning that a change in price would have a smaller impact on the quantity supplied. It is also important to note that the elasticity of supply for electric cars may vary over time as the market for electric cars matures and as production technologies and processes improve. As electric cars manufacturers become more efficient and as the supply of raw materials and components become more reliable, the supply of electric cars may become more elastic.
Effect of COVID-19 for electric cars. The COVID-19 pandemic has a few effects of the electric car market. One of the most significant impacts has been decline in overall vehicle sales due to lockdown and the economic down caused by the pandemic. This decline has affected the sales of electric cars as well, although the extent of the impact has varied by country and region. In addition to decline in sales, the pandemic has also led to production delay and supply chain disruption for electric cars. Many electric cars manufacturing plant has to shut down temporarily due to lockdowns and other measures to control the spread of the virus. This has resulted in shortage of certain electric cars model and has affected the availability of electric car for purpose. Despite the short-term challenge, the long-term outlook for electric car remains positive. Many governments around the world have announced plans to accelerate the transition to electric transportation to reduce air pollution and greenhouse gas emissions. Incentives and subsidies has been introduced in some countries to encourage the adoption of electric cars, and other makers has announced plans to significantly increase their electric cars production in the coming years. The pandemic has also led to an increase in demand for home charging equipment as more people are working from home and driving less. The shift to the remote would have also led to decline in useful public transportation, which may lead to increased adoption of electric for personal